Hello and welcome to the It's in Queens podcast, the podcast that dives into the stories, the spirit, and the standout people that make Queens unlike anywhere else in the world. I'm your host, Jeff Simmons, and this podcast comes to you each week thanks to the Queens Tourism Council and the Queens Economic Development Corporation. Together, they work year-round to foster a sense of community, provide resources for business owners, and celebrate the diversity that defines our borough. As the days get longer and the weather warms up, there's no better time to get outside and rediscover all that Queens has to offer. So whether you're strolling through a neighborhood park or sampling new flavors at an open-air market or catching a pop-up performance at a local plaza, this season is perfect for exploring the borough's vibrant streetscapes and supporting the small businesses that keep our communities thriving. From Astoria to Flushing, Queens is alive with energy and opportunity. Local shops, food vendors, creative entrepreneurs, they're all at the heart of our neighborhoods, and your support helps them to flourish. So as you make plans to enjoy the sunshine, consider stopping by a new cafe, checking out a family-run boutique, or attending an event that's hosted by local makers. A big part of what makes these businesses succeed is the support that they get from organizations like the QEDC. And one exciting way they do this is through an innovative program that nurtures innovation and helps entrepreneurs turn their ideas into reality. This year, the Queens Tech and Innovation Challenge has taken center stage as a dynamic platform for aspiring business owners. Building on the legacy of past competitions, this annual initiative brings together industry leaders, mentors, and sponsors to help a generation of startups to grow and to thrive. It's offered via a partnership between Borough President Donovan Richards' office and the QEDC, and it's a 5-month instruction and funding competition for entrepreneurs in search of money and knowledge to launch or grow their startups. Contestants participated in one-on-one consultations and networking events while also taking workshops on such topics as marketing, AI, and financial projections. Then they submitted applications to judges who selected finalists in several categories: community, consumer tech, enterprise tech, food and beverage, and sustainability. And then the finalists pitched to a second round of judges in person, and those judges selected one winner from each category. With $20,000 grants on the line, the competition has always been fierce, but the real reward is the network and guidance that participants gain along the way. And this month, I'm happy to continue a tradition where I celebrate the winners by inviting them on this weekly podcast. So today, you'll meet Michelle Lauren Siegel, the winner in the community category. She's the founder of Move, Make, Bloom, a dance studio that offers professional training adapted for adult bodies, fitness training for conditioning, hands-on attention, and performance opportunities. So let's hear from Michelle. Michelle Lauren Siegel, welcome to the It's in Queens podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Let's start off by finding out more about you and your career journey. So talk a little about your career and then what inspired you to become an entrepreneur.
Okay, so I actually danced since I was a little girl, probably about 3 years old. I wound up majoring in dance in college. I wasn't really sure what to do with that in my journey, and a professor suggested that I start dancing professionally, and he hired me to dance in his company my last year of college. And then I started performing with several New York City-based companies, and I had some international engagements, teaching master classes and performing, and I've taught in studio and university settings. And I was the artistic director of my family's business, and I led over 20 productions with them, and I've choreographed countless works, and I've choreographed for theater arts programs in the public school system. So I have an extensive choreographic and performance background as well as teaching background. And then during the pandemic, there's a lot of shifts happening, and I started teaching independently. I was still performing, but things were weird, a little bit slow. And from there, not immediately, but I did form my business after teaching independently. And so along the way, I was kind of figuring it out as I went, and I used my background in the arts and teaching and choreography and my experience as the artistic director. And I also founded our studio's first performance ensemble back in my family business. So I used all the ideas I had and things I wanted to implement, and I figured it out as I went along. And then in December, which was about my third year in the business, I joined the 60-hour course at the QEDC, which was really, really pivotal. And it kind of was a turning point for me. So I really value that experience and the community of really respectable entrepreneurs that I got to work with.
And we're going to talk more about the QEDC coming up. But before I forget, talk a little about your experience growing up or living in Queens. Just want to talk a little about your connection with Queens.
Oh, I lived in Queens pretty much my whole life, except for one tiny hiatus where I moved to Brooklyn for about like a year or two.
But then you came back.
But then I came back. I came back because it's my community. It just felt like a part of who I am. And I've always taught in Queens. I love Queens. So many things about it. I really appreciate the diversity. It's the most diverse place in the world, and it's so full of ideas and culture. And I feel like there's a really strong sense of authenticity and community. And I always wish there was more dance related events offered to our community. And so I guess that was always something in my head along the way. And I wanted to be a part of creating something bigger and stronger for the dance community of Queens.
And in terms of creating something bigger and stronger, you created Move, Make, Bloom. Talk a little about the initial vision behind it.
Okay, so initially, like I said, it formed out of I was teaching independently, and then I was like, let me form a business. And so my initial instincts were I want to create something very growth focused. So it doesn't matter what your background is, how extensively you trained, and this is kind of aligned with how it's focused now. But basically, if you have the passion, you have the dedication, and if you have the love, and you're putting the work in, you're gonna get something out of it. I want to help people get something out of it. And then when I started noticing patterns with my clients and learning along the way, like I said, and who's getting the most value out of what I'm offering, I started shaping it a little bit further. And then I learned that only 3% of dancers go on to become professional dancers. And yeah, and it's kind of crazy. It's a really, really small number. And so 97% of dancers don't do it professionally. And when they hit that fork in the road, it's actually a big block for a lot of people because they feel like they don't have a place they fit in, especially those with an extensive background. Because they have a certain amount of knowledge, and then what's being offered to them is very limited. There's a lot of kids classes, there's a lot of competition dance, and there's a lot of recreational dance for adults, which is not as serious. So I feel like they almost feel forced to stop. And I just really want everybody who has a background to reconnect with it and return and flood all these people back into dance because it's very meaningful, and create a community for this.
So your journey came from overcoming a career-threatening spine injury and moving ahead to returning to the stage. It's incredibly inspiring. Talk a little about how that experience shaped your philosophy on movement and influenced the creation of Move, Make, Bloom.
Yeah, it plays a pivotal role. It's that was one of I've had quite a few challenging experiences in my life, but I would say that was one of the hardest things I've went through. And just to start off, dancers in general, and definitely myself, we have this fear of stopping. We have this fear, oh, if I stop, I can't start again. If I take a long break, I won't be good at it anymore. It's just, I'm going to lose it. It's not going to be the same. Nobody will want to hire me. So what happened was I've had this injury, and it progressed over the years. So it wasn't only, a one-time thing. But there was a big scare in 2020, and it was really, really bad. And it got to the point where it was debilitating, and I couldn't move, and not for a short time. And so I went from not being able to put my shoes on or roll over from one side to the other in bed, or being scared of even driving in a car and hitting a bump, because it was that bad. And I was able to return because it's just when you're a dancer, it takes so much like commitment, so much hard work, and so much dedication. Anyone who does it knows this, and it becomes a core part of who you are. And at some point, you just feel like you're not yourself without it. And so, I'm also the type of person that when someone says something can't be done, I say, okay, well, how can we do it? So. And
That's a good approach.
Yeah, I think it's good in the entrepreneurial aspect as well. But yeah, it was just so much a part of me that I couldn't fathom not dancing at all. So I tried to just focus on the smaller steps, because if I just looked at the big picture, it just felt so overwhelming. And I was like, okay, maybe I won't be able to look like this again, but let me start with just this. And I remember one of the companies I was working with again, Lydia Johnson Dance. So it was the pandemic and things were all on Zoom, and I was taking company class with them, and I had my camera off and I was humiliated, and I could barely shift my weight to one leg. And things went on like that for a while. And, time goes by and you can do more. And now I can stand on one leg, and now I can lift my leg a little bit higher. And this was something that they wanted me to have spinal fusion surgery. It's a very serious surgery. And I actually didn't have surgery. I didn't have surgery. I worked really hard. I did a lot of strength training. Some of the offerings that I offer in my business involve similar types of training, deep core work, and because the surgery is very, very risky and also can lead to other issues. And so, yeah, I little by little was able to do more and more, and reached a point where there was less pain. It took a long time. I will say that it took a long time. And I just realized how resilient we are, mind and body, and I really want to share this experience with other people. I feel like you can always do something. You just have to change your approach. You might have to find a different method, but I feel like you can do it again, and I really want to encourage others to do the same, coming from such a difficult place.
And that leads me to the next question, because Move Make Bloom is described as a sanctuary for adults looking to reconnect with dance regardless of their age or past obstacles. What do you think are the biggest misconceptions adults might have about returning to dance, and how does your business help them overcome those barriers?
Oh, yeah. So the biggest one is that you're too old, which is not true. Even people with careers, they're going further and further. They're doing it after pregnancies. Your body can do so much. People don't realize it, and you're better off moving. And then the other thing is that just because you're not a professional doesn't mean you have something really beautiful and artistic to offer that you should share either for yourself or with others. Because I've been really moved by some of my dancers that didn't ever pursue a professional career and took decades off, and then they returned, and I find myself watching them in the same manner that I look at professionals, and like just really taking in the artistry of what they're doing. And I really think that more people should be allowed this opportunity. It should be, if you really find this work meaningful, if this is part of who you are and this means something to you, you're going to work hard and you're going to get somewhere with it, and you should be offered that pathway.
And, we only have about a minute or two or a few minutes left, but any other services, programs you provide that you want to highlight? Because I want to get to the competition itself and what it means to you, but I want to make sure that I do not overlook the scope of services you provide.
Yes. Okay. So we provide the following services. We have Get Fit Like a Dancer, which is our fitness program. So it's dance-focused fitness training to prepare your body for the rigors of dance. And we don't just throw people back into class and tell them to figure it out. We make them strong and flexible again. And then Train Like a Dancer is our dance program. And that's where we focus on technique and further refine the strength and flexibility. Perform Like a Dancer is our performance ensemble. So members can join this and perform on stage and share what we do with an audience. Get Creative Like a Dancer is our choreography services, and we do all sorts of events, anything imaginable, custom choreography for an event. We've had wedding clients, and then Be Inspired by Dance are our performances and events, and that includes free events that we've created, like Sun and Sand Stretch and Strengthen on the beach in Rockaway that we did, and some festivals we perform at, and our yearly spring concert. So those are our main programs.
So congratulations, because you're the winner of the 2025 Queens Tech and Innovation Challenges community category. What does that mean to you, and how is this going to help you grow your business?
It means so much to me. When you go through life, and life is always full of obstacles for all of us, right? And just this feels like a door opening for me. So it's been very hard to run the business alone. I don't really have a team. I have a lot of wonderful partners, which are helpful, but I don't have a team. It's only me. So this will help me to bring on team members for things like marketing, which will help us reach more people, people to help with administrative tasks, and then eventually more instructors. So all of that growth, and then I can focus more on growth, on partnerships, on strategy, and not only be I'm not only, but I can spend more time doing that and not a lot of time in the classroom only or things like that. So I can get the help that I need.
And for anyone who's listening, if they'd like to learn more about Move, Make, Bloom, where should they go?
You should definitely visit our website, movemakebloom.com. We also have an Instagram and Facebook page, Move Make Bloom. And you can sign up for events. You can sign up for classes. We have a promo, 30 days for $30 for new clients. And you can also come to see our concert. We have a concert on June 26th at Queen's Theater. And we also will be performing at the Queen's Night Market. So we'll be sharing all that, likely June 21st. So we'll have all of that up for you.
That all sounds fantastic. Michelle Lauren Siegel, I want to thank you so much for appearing here on the It's in Queens podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
It's hard to believe we're only a few weeks away from the end of the school year. If you're a parent or caretaker and looking for ways to keep the kids engaged and entertained this summer, Queens has an incredible lineup of activities and programs that you can explore. But even if you're not in that role, don't worry. There's so much more that happens that adults will enjoy too, from cultural events to outdoor adventures. So where should you go? What should you do? To help us navigate all the options and make the most of what Queens have to offer, well, I've got Rob Mackay. He is ready to share his top picks and insider tips throughout the year, and he's with the QEDC and the Queens Tourism Council, and each and every week, he highlights some of the more exciting events that are happening in Queens. Here's this week's report.
Hi, Jeff. Saturday, June 14th is Flag Day. And so let's go off the beaten path and celebrate. You can't do enough for those who made the ultimate sacrifice for our country, in my mind. So Maple Grove Cemetery is holding what's really a special, powerful, meaningful day. At 12 o'clock, they're going to unveil a display of World War II memorabilia, authentic uniforms and gear and other stuff that a local guy named Sean Miller, who's a passionate preservationist, will share. Then at 1:30, Carl Balinas, who spent 40 years as a social studies teacher in Jamaica and has written 7 books on history, will do a PowerPoint presentation on his latest book, which is about the 27 Kew Garden natives who are buried in Maple Grove Cemetery and gave the ultimate sacrifice during World War II. Should be very powerful. He's got stories about all 27 of them. I've talked to him personally. He said it took him forever to get all the information. But then there's sort of a secret weapon, which is that Dominic Critelli will be here. Dominic Critelli is 104 years old right now. But back during World War II, he fought during the Battle of the Bulge. He actually did 14 missions to drop food, medicine, and supplies on near where the troops were while they were in enemy zones. So he won a whole bunch of medals for that, and he's going to be there. He's still going strong. That is what I suggest. Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks, Rob. That's just a few of the things happening in our borough, and the place to go to discover everything that's on the horizon is at the It's in Queens website at itsinqueens.com. And by the way, if you are interested in learning more about how to help your business in Queens, well, head to the QEDC's website at queensny.org. And when you're there, or at the Queens Tourism Council website, take a moment and sign up for their newsletter. Now this summer, when you get outside, please make a point of just snapping a few photos and share them with us. Use the hashtag #It'sInQueens when you post on Instagram or X, because your photo could become our photo of the week. I'm your host, Jeff Simmons, and that's it for this week's It's in Queens podcast.